How's it going, YouTube? This is Sam coming at you on day 39 of my solid food vacation juice feast. And in this video, I want to talk about why I'm doing this. I realize I haven't properly addressed that in my previous videos. And when I decided I wanted to do this a year or so ago when I discovered John Rose's videos, and he talked about doing a solid food vacation on juices, and I'd already had a juicer from having seen Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. When I started juicing a bit after watching John Rose's, or juicing, in earnest again, I felt that the rush of nutrition made me feel very good. I felt a taste of that communion with nature, and I really wanted to see if his, what he talks about with biophotons was legit. I wanted to see if by going the distance, I wanted to see how good I could feel, and I wanted to see if I could cure any lingering anxiety or depression that I may have had. And not that I would say that I've had, I deal with that too much, but I wanted to see how good I could feel. I wanted to see if that was really the answer to being fully happy and content. And I've come a long way. I've shed a lot of things. I've shed substances that were not good for me. I'll talk about, I've shed not drinking coffee or espresso. And I think also in doing the solid food vacation, there was a bit of vanity in there. I wanted to see how good I could get, get the physique I always wanted. And I think, after a month or so of this, I'm in as lean and as good shape as I've ever been. And I'll talk more about that in future videos. But I also wanted to see if the serpent that John Rose talks about, that's, addressed in biblical texts and in ancient texts, and that John Rose and others we hear about, the mucoid plaque, I wanted to see if it's real, and if it's in me, and if it is, I wanted to get it out. I wanted to see what would come out of me in doing this, going the distance, so to speak. And I'm not using any psyllium husk or bentonite clay for that reason. And I know a lot of people take them and it helps a lot of people in getting stuff out of them, but I've heard people say that those long feet of mucoid plaque that you see when you Google the term, some people say that that's mostly psyllium husk or bentonite clay coming out of you. So I'm not taking those substances for that reason, because I want to see if mucoid plaque is real, and what exactly will come out of me. So yeah, it's, vanity, fitness, well-being, mental well-being, feeling communion with nature and everything around me, and then also wanting to get out gunk inside of me. And I think those things are all kind of related. And then I also want to do just, some maintenance to kind of preventative health. Healthcare is very expensive in the United States, and I want to nip any developing issues in the bud before they might come. So yeah, that's kind of why I'm doing this. I started off small, doing little juice feasts, 3 days, 7 days. I wanted to go the distance, I wanted to go quite long, but I had travel plans on my calendar. I had social obligations and things like that. So I couldn't just hop right into a long-term solid food vacation, even though I kind of tried. But I settled into a routine of juicing, as I mentioned earlier, like Monday through Thursday, and that felt very good. Maybe sometimes Monday through Friday. Sometimes it would be like 6 or 7 days, but it was on average about 4 days in the week, and this is from like last July to, I would say, around the holidays of 2019, so like 6 or 7 months. I would juice on Monday through Thursday. I would break the juice feast with an apple or two in the morning on a Friday, and then some bananas in the afternoon, and maybe some more raw food on a Friday evening, and then maybe some cooked food on a Friday evening, like some cooked vegan or vegetarian food. And then the following day, on like Saturday or Sunday, I might have been working in my second job. So I would juice in the morning and then bring some fruit to my second job where I bartend, and then I would, in the evening, have some more cooked food or junk food actually on the Saturday evening. And then Sunday I would do the same thing, but I would kind of, Sunday evening I would have like a healthier vegan meal. So in this time when I was vegan, after I was juicing, I was mostly vegan, but not entirely vegan. That routine worked pretty well for me, but I gotta be honest, I would look forward to the cooked food kind of dinners on the weekends. It was easy to juice a few days, like 4 days, if I was looking forward to something at the end of the day, or at the end of the week rather. And that kind of became my routine up until the holidays. And then in January, it became too cold to really do that. So in January, February, at this point, I'm pretty much consuming a lot of raw fruit, a lot of vegan, food, a lot of juicing, a lot of, in my second job, when I was bartending, I would eat fruit during the shifts to sort of stay energized. And but when January of this past year came around, it was just too cold to do that, to kind of juice for several days on end and bike around to my Monday through Friday job. So I didn't entirely put the juicing to the side, but I would do it maybe like 1 liter a day. And at the beginning of the weeks, I would try water fasting, and I would do that probably from like late January to mid-March or so. I would water fast like maybe for 2 days in the beginning of the week. I think my longest was almost 100 hours, so like 3.5 days, but sometimes it would just be as short as a day. But on average, I would go like 2 days in the beginning of the week, and then in the middle of the week, I would do juicing and raw vegan food, and then at the end of the week I would do like juicing and raw vegan food in the daytime, and then cooked food in the evening. And that was an okay routine, but I started to gain some weight, as I always do in the kind of depths of winter. And I was doing that up until kind of the coronavirus kicked off. But how's it going? Once the coronavirus kicked off and my gym closed and I was working from home, that's when I decided to really give the solid food vacation a go in earnest. And that was like April 14th or so, right after Easter and my birthday, which fell around the same time. And so this is day 39, and I'm still working out a little bit. I'm working out several times a week. But I'm doing mostly like body work, calisthenics at the local park course near my apartment. So like push-ups, pull-ups, lunges, squats, jump squats, things like that, which I think lend themselves to juicing more, because you kind of lean out and then those body movements become a little bit easier. So I've been doing that, and that's been going pretty good, and I think I'm going to make some videos about that going forward. But been having I'm day 39. I'm kind of entering the midst of this solid food vacation. Like I said, I want to go the distance, which could be 100 days, could be 80, 90 days, could be 120 days. I don't know if any of the juicing I've done before. And like I said, I've probably done a cumulative 90 or so days between July and December of this past year. Every week, probably averaging 3-4 days a week. I don't know if that will make the length I have to go shorter. I don't necessarily think it will, because I was still eating cooked food a couple times a week at the end of the week, but we'll see. I was still getting quite thin in November, December of this past year. Um, I think
Doesn't keep the wheel straight.
sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Right. So, I'm down day 39. Anyway, I was on Instagram the other day, I think 2 days ago, and I was looking at Mike Perrine's channel. He's the host of the Everyday Detox podcast, and he also is a colonics owner at a studio in New York City called Vitality NYC. He's a great podcast host, a great wellness advocate. I highly encourage you to subscribe to him. Anyway, a couple of days ago, when I was on his Instagram, he had a offer. He said, the first dozen or so people to DM me your email, I invite you to do a live Q&A with me on Zoom. And I had some questions about my solid food vacation. I've also had some questions about coffee enemas. I've been doing coffee enemas like 2 or 3 times per week, and it had gotten to be where I was doing them almost like every other day, and I was starting to get worried if that was maybe too often. Even though on the Gerson protocol they do them like 4 times a day, but that's for cancer patients. So I don't know if I was maybe shocking my adrenals or doing something bad by doing them that often. I didn't necessarily feel bad, but I was having trouble holding them. And I've also quit coffee. I used to drink espresso like 3-4 shots a day, sometimes 5 shots, which may be like 250 milligrams of caffeine. And I've quit. I weaned off that in the first week of this solid food vacation, which is really big for me. I mean, I'm going on 4 weeks without drinking espresso, and that's been a big win for me. I taste it every now and then. If I need to move my bowels, I find just putting some in my mouth oddly allows me to go. I try not to do that too often, but if I need some help, I will. And the taste is, the espresso is just so bitter that I can't even, it's like I don't even want it, which is great. It tastes to me like regular coffee, which I can't stomach. It's too acidic. Tastes like it's dehydrating, it's bitter. And actually that happened when I was juicing before in July of last year. I kind of went off espresso for a day or two, but then I kind of weaned myself back onto it because I just needed something to look forward to in the day. I need my little dopamine hits throughout the day. 3-4 espresso shots kind of couldn't really give that up. So I kind of weaned myself back onto it. I know I could do that if I want, but I'm going to try and refrain from doing that. But at any rate, back to the Everyday Detox Mike Perrine Q&A. I was on the Q&A with him. It was about a dozen people and Mike and a couple of his staff, and it was actually really cool. It was really good of him to do that. He's an excellent coach. I would hire him to coach me in a second if that was a possibility. Maybe it is, but I think he's a pretty busy guy. But I asked my question about coffee enemas, and I prefaced it by saying, yeah, I'm on day 39 of the solid food vacation. And he was like, yeah, and everyone in the Zoom call was like, wow, that's awesome, that's great. And a lot of these other people in the Zoom call were like brand new to wellness, and God bless them. It's great that they were figuring it out, but some of them didn't even really know what intermittent fasting was and things like that. So here I am on the Zoom call being like, I'm on day 39 of a solid food vacation. Pretty much, extreme to maybe some of these people, but everyone was being super supportive. But I was asking Mike about the coffee enemas, and he's like, yeah, they're probably fine. I don't know, or he didn't say he didn't know, but he was like, the theory is that they open up the bile and from your liver and allow you to release toxins, but you're still getting caffeine in the system. And he one of the things he said was because I told him, I was like, yeah, I'm doing these coffee enemas, but I'm also going to do colonics because he's a big proponent of colonics, and I've set up an appointment for myself next Friday, and I'm going to do another one like a month after that, but because I've already paid for 2 in a Groupon. But I told him I'm on day 39. He asked me how long do I plan on going. I said 100 days, no more than 120 days, but I want to, I follow John Rose. I want to go till I stop pooping. And he was like, whoa, that's hey, that's a long time. And he's like, I know if you do go that long, just be warned that when doing that, you will be super sensitive after that. You know, your body will have gotten quite used to the efficiency of getting the nutrients from the juice. And, you know, you're going to have to eat like a saint after that if you do indeed go that long. He said people have done it, but you're going to have to eat like a saint. And he told me this kind of brief anecdote about a friend of his who went that long, and then he was like also a chef in a kitchen, and for whatever reason he was like his like stepchildren or something, he was watching them, and I guess he was like starting to eat some of the food they were eating, and one thing led to another, and he ended up gaining like 150 pounds because he just couldn't stop eating or putting on weight or God knows what. And I wasn't too sure of how relevant that was to my story, but it did make me think that, am I ready to eat like a saint after this? I'm not sure that I am. What I want is for the cooked foods to become not even palatable after this, for them to turn me off and be disgusting. But I can say that when I was juicing in the fall and the summer last year, sometimes I was looking forward to those cooked foods at the end of the week, and I still love my fruits and vegetables. Don't get me wrong, like I loved eating them in the daytime, and but even before I was vegan, I went vegan in like 2017, mostly vegan. I was like hardcore vegan for a year, didn't touch meat or dairy. Then after that I kind of let up, so eating a little bit of meat here and there, and still no dairy. But I don't think I'm going to put on 160 pounds even if I slip up a little bit. But one thing I don't want to happen is for my system to be shocked after this. And in that Q&A, I'm not sure if it got across the mic that I'm taking this very seriously, and I'm definitely going to take at least a week to break this fast, doing it the John Rose Protocol way. But I have heard stories about people like eating a little bit of salt or a salty meal, and then all of a sudden their like ankles are swelling up because their body's totally rejecting the salt and trying to protect themselves from it. And I don't want that to happen to me, and I trust myself to only eat fruits and vegetables. But like I am engaged, and probably once this lockdown ends up, me and my fiance are going to do some traveling, probably stay with her parents, and I'm not 100% sure that I'm going to be in complete control of the things that I'm eating. I mean, I'm usually quite good at controlling what I feed myself and the choices I make, but I'm not as good at turning down food that is offered to me in those social situations, because I don't want to be a burden. I don't want to stand out. And I do have a weakness for those foods like pizza, whatever. It's typical American foods, but usually that's only a problem for me at dinner time, and then that's when I'm at the dinner table. But I was thinking, if that is an issue for me, if I'm not willing to kind of stand up and say, no, I'm not eating this, is it smart to go as long as I plan on going? And that's what I wanted to talk about, and that's what I want to get some feedback from folks in the comments, because I'm not sure. At this point, I'm still taking it day by day. I don't have anything on my social calendar through June, maybe through July, and if it's through July, that'll be like 105 days. So I can say this, I'm not going to break this fast just because the juicing for an hour and a half in the morning, hour and a half is not that bad. I'm working from home. There's a helicopter. Living in DC. The juicing isn't that bad, but I'm not gonna hold up my fiance and my travel calendar for this. Although I did buy a Shine juicer, which I think I can travel with. So if I can for like small trips. But my point is, I'm not sure if it's smart to go 120 days if I'm not sure I can be in complete control of what I eat thereafter. Although I think I can, and my hope is that the cooked foods that I know are bad or that I won't want to eat them. Like I don't want the coffee anymore, but I'm not sure if that'll be the case. And another challenge to this, the challenge for me hasn't been making the juices. The juices taste great. I mean, the challenge has been not having the cooked food to look forward to, because like I was said at the beginning when I was doing the kind of Monday through Thursday, Monday through Friday juicing, I would look forward to the cooked food at the end of the week, even though I would eat the cooked food and then I would like lie down on the couch. My stomach was like so full, it wasn't comfortable. I would get drowsy, I would be gassy all night. Then I'd wake up in the morning, have some juice, have some lemon water, maybe have a shot of espresso, have some fruit at midday, and then I was good doing that for a couple of days and then getting back on like the 4 days of juices. But I don't know if that routine is gonna cut it after this. So I think I'm still gonna go for it. But I'm having a minor crisis of confidence about if I do wanna go 120 days. And another thing that Mike said, and I really respect his opinion on this, is that he said, you know, Sam, you never stop pooping. You're not gonna stop pooping, you know, on a juice feast, because when you poop, about a third of what's in there is like dead cells from your body that your body's getting rid of and has replaced with nutrients and other things. And I've heard that before, then that makes sense. I hadn't thought of that, but that's something that strikes me as true intuitively, and I think that is true. And I wonder if what people have to say, and I know that kind of goes counter to the John Rose, go with the distance, go till you stop pooping, but I guess you're still kind of passing juices and stuff, even if there's probably some mud in there, right? I know some people have been when they go the distance, they're not entirely sure if they're done yet. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Going 100, 120 days is amazing. You become like perfect machine of health, you know, converting nutrition like that. You're in the best shape of your life. And I really like the shape I'm getting in, and I'll show folks later on my physique when I do workout videos, but you know, I'm just I'm wondering if I'm setting myself up for bad repercussions if I don't eat like a saint after this. And I want to hear what people have to say about that. So that's about all I've got. Just a couple other things. Talking about my weight, and well, first of all, I'm about 5'10", maybe almost 5'10". My weight right now is like 136. When I first started, it was about 146. And then after a couple days, I was down to like 142. Like I went to 142 like right away. And then for like a couple weeks, I was vacillating between like 138, 142. And now I'm starting to go down a little bit. Just kind of wanted to update on that. Movements, I'm still having like one movement a day. It's solid. And then some juices thereafter. I'm logging those. Nothing that out of the ordinary. But some things are a little bit kind of knotty, curly, not necessarily knotty, but they kind of have the consistency of clay, stuff that's maybe been in my small intestine, I hope. Nothing that's so rubbery or old, but some stuff has smelled quite old, so we'll see if, you know, I hope that that's productive to get that stuff out, and I assume it is. What else did I want to talk about? I think that's it for now. Video's gone kind of long, but you know, get at me in the comments. I want to hear from you guys. The encouragement always helps. All right, that's it. Talk to you later. As you can kind of see, the sun is starting to come out. I'm wearing a t-shirt. That's another thing that kind of has been a very big challenge, and I hope I'm finally turning the corner there. It's summertime just hasn't come yet, and I think it's finally here. It's obviously Friday before Memorial Day, but man, when the temperature is like in the 50s and 60s, I am just freezing cold on this juice feast. You know, and then, but it's funny when the temperature pops up above like the 70s, then it's like I feel fine, and I feel like I'm hanging out on, you know, in my apartment in shorts and a t-shirt, feeling great, and the juices feel great. But like, you know, when it was rainy and chilly out, I felt awful. Not awful, but like, you know, I would work all day at my desk, make juices, do work, you know, maybe work out or something, play some piano. I play piano every day. at the end of the day, I would just have to put on like sweatpants and long underwear and like 2 pairs of socks and get under a blanket, and even then it's like I was freezing cold and just didn't feel like I had anything to look forward to. But now that I think summer is here, the juices really feel great when I drink them, feel great inside me. You know, I thought I had turned this corner weather-wise like a week and a half ago, or maybe a week ago last weekend. It was like 80, and I remember for like 6 days I was looking forward to the skies finally clearing up and the sun coming out, because it had been like 50s, 60s for like 5 or 6 days in late May, which is pretty uncharacteristic of the mid-Atlantic where I live. And I was looking forward to this so much because, you know, like I was saying, I don't feel like I have a lot to look forward to. We are in quarantine. I'm just juicing. I'm not eating solid food or cooked food. No travel plans. I mean, at least I could look forward to like going outside and being in the sun and the nice weather. I mean, I love getting sun. You know, I absorb vitamin D and tan really quickly. I was looking forward to this so much that I had some dreams about it, and I even had some nightmares where like I would look at the weather forecast, and all of a sudden it would be like 5 straight days of like 50-degree weather. It would just change, and that was terrifying. And that even after last weekend, that kind of happened, because I thought last weekend was going to be the turning point, and it was just going to be like 70, 80 there on out. But it was 70, 80 for a couple days, and then like for the 5 days afterwards, all of a sudden like this big storm, a big kind of weather pattern came, and like it had been very cold, and then that finally ended this afternoon. So I'm hoping that the warm weather also kind of snaps me out of the minor crisis of confidence, because, you know, I'm getting out of the cold season, and when it is cold, you know, I know myself and probably others, you get more of the craving or the inclination to eat cooked warm foods. But in the summertime, I don't have that as much. And even in the wintertime, I was fine having juices and fruit like in the daytime. You know, as long as I wasn't juicing multiple days on end, or even I could even water fast for like a couple days. But in the summertime when it's warm, it's like you want to only take in light foods. So, you know, that was one of the reasons I started this juice fast now, because I knew I could look forward to the warm weather. And then after the warm weather comes another month or month and a half, and then the produce will be in season here, and that's another thing I have to look forward to. And then after that, after like a month of that, I'll be done, which will be great. I'll probably still juice after that, because I love juicing the produce that's in season, but of course still eating stuff, and, you know, we'll see how it goes from there. But that was another factor I wanted to mention about the crisis of confidence, was just feeling cold all the time and not wanting to like do my hobbies, not wanting to, you know, just wanting to like get under the covers, you know, at sundown. So as you can see, it's getting sunnier, and that feels really good.